Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Corey the Man. We back in here, man. Um, my last video didn't monetize. I mean, not the last video, but the video before that, the Big Time Rush video. I felt like it wasn't. It was too much singing in there. I was trying to edit it, but nah. But my last two videos, they're able to monetize. I hate how I gotta go in there and after every video, I gotta go in and manually monetize it, so it won't just monetize on its own. That's new. I like that I'm able to get ads on my videos. That's beautiful too. But today, we're reacting to how to bring back. Damn it! I'm probably have to edit this video. We're all reacting to how to bring back Spectacular Spider-Man. That's just what the video's called. Yeah. I'm actually gonna go and look and see if I can edit it
Sick
right
of all
now.
the ads like this
I know
one?
it's
Just
still
head to
streaming, but still.
adskiller.com, click on
Now I'm
Activate
just
Now,
wait. It
and
might mess the
What is the
stream up
deal with
if I
Spectacular
try to
Spider-Man
edit.
Season 3? Seriously, like, what's going on with this show? I've made many videos about this topic in the past, but since Across the Spider-Verse just came out and basically reignited everyone's love and want for Season 3, I thought I'd post an update video to everything we basically know about Spectacular Spider-Man Season 3, and whether it is possible or not. And if it is, what would have to happen to make it into existence? So before we discuss how Spectacular
I feel
Spider-Man
like if
Season
they
3
brought it
would
back, they
actually
would mess it
happen,
up.
we need to understand
They really
why it was
would.
actually cancelled
They
in
wouldn't
the
get
first place.
the guy that
Spectacular Spider-Man was placed in an unfortunate
I think
situation.
Yuri
This series had
Yuri
high ratings and
Watanabe
was
or
popular with
Josh.
all audiences, which
I
is
don't know
why today it
who
has such a
was
cult following,
Keaton
especially with the generation
or
that grew
who
up with it,
was in it.
like myself.
I
However,
don't know.
during
Feel
2010,
like
the
they would
same
mess
year
it
that
up.
Disney acquired Marvel and all its
Feel like all the
characters,
storylines
Sony were
wouldn't make
losing money
sense.
from their movie division. The PlayStation 3 at the time was one of the few successful Sony products bringing in the big bucks. However, their film division was on a loss, which was close to around $1 billion. This meant that Sony had to recuperate some of that loss as to not be close to bankruptcy or shutting down certain parts of their division. At the time, Sony owned the film rights, the merchandise rights, and the television rights for Spider-Man, which included Spider-Man himself and all of his side characters like Venom, Gwen Stacy, etc. And to gain back some of the losses, Sony decided to sell the television rights and the merchandising rights back to Marvel and by proxy, Walt Disney. Which means that 2010 onward, Sony is allowed to make movies about Spider-Man, a right in which they still hold to this day, and Disney was allowed to produce and distribute Spider-Man television series and produce merchandise for Spider-Man as well. So then the question you're asking is, why didn't Disney just continue the Spectacular Spider-Man? And why didn't they just make Season 3? Although Disney bought the television rights to Spider-Man, one thing that they didn't buy was Spectacular Spider-Man and related characters themselves. The ownership of Spectacular Spider-Man and all the other Spider-Man television series that came before Spectacular Spider-Man still retained in Sony's hands. And because of this meant that Sony could distribute Spectacular Spider-Man as they please to any third-party company. They can stream it wherever they like, and they can still produce.
I think I
DVDs
saw it
with
when it
new
was on
content prior
Netflix.
to the deal.
Like I saw it
This is why
again.
Spectacular Spider-Man
I think it
isn't
was a while
always
since
on
I
Disney
seen it.
Plus, and in some countries is on
Yeah, I
Netflix,
think it
just as
uploaded the
was in the
first
US and the United Kingdom for a portion of
season.
time. However, because
Then
Sony
I
no
watched the
longer
second
own the
season
right to
on
produce a Spider-Man show,
Go
they are
Movie.
not allowed to make any new content for Spectacular Spider-Man, which included Season 3 and all of the other plans that they had going forward. They are only allowed to redistribute the same content that they had prior to the deal.
Oh, I did get
Likewise,
the title
Disney
right.
didn't have the right to continue the
I guess I
Spectacular
was just
Spider-Man
on the wrong
series,
video.
as they did not own the rights to the characters and the show itself. But since they did own the right to make a Spider-Man television series, they greenlit a Disney XD Spider-Man show that aired in 2012, which we know today as Ultimate Spider-Man. And since they have gone on to make Marvel Spider-Man, which aired in
Sorry, I was typing in
2017, and in 2024 will release the Disney Plus exclusive Spider-Man show, Spider-Man Freshman Year, which I made a video about explaining all the details of that show if you want to go watch that. So yeah, Spectacular Spider-Man is in a bit of a pickle. There's literally no way the show can be made with the current deal between the parties involved. So how can Season 3 actually happen? Despite it being near impossible, there is actually a few loopholes that could allow Sony to tell the lost story. If you remember, Josh Keaton reprised his role as Spectacular Spider-Man in Spider-Man
I
Across the
knew his name was
Spider-Verse. Now
Josh
you may be
something.
wondering, how? Well, like I
I got the
mentioned
name right
towards the start of the
earlier.
video, Disney does not own the rights to make a Spider-Man film. Those rights are still owned 100% by Sony. And if you're confused as to how Spider-Man is appearing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that is because Sony has made an external deal with Disney to allow Spider-Man to show up in the universe as long as Disney gets a cut of the profits from each Spider-Man film that they make. It's kind of like how YouTube take a cut of your earnings on the platform. It's essentially like a tax for using their platform, right? Disney are taxing Sony for using the MCU as a platform to make their Spider-Man movies in. I imagine the deal's sort of like that. Either way, Sony is still 100% in control of the Spider-Man film rights, and if tomorrow they wanted to, they could decide to never re-sign the contract with Disney and retain the film rights for eternity. The only reason that they continue to
That'd be
make
smart.
films within the Marvel Cinematic Universe was because
Anything
the Andrew
happens, you can
Garfield
always
Amazing
take your
Spider-Man
stuff and
movies
leave.
were a complete financial failure, meaning that they had to somehow reboot the character in a fresh sort of way, in which Disney and Marvel ended up approaching Sony to put Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the rest is history. To this day, Sony has good relations with Marvel Disney and will continue to put Spider-Man in the MCU because of how successful the first 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies ended up being. But despite all of this, Sony still owns the rights 100% to Spider-Man when it comes to film. And this is why the Spider-Verse movies are currently being made, and spin-off movies of other characters in the Spider-Man mythos for the Sonyverse like Venom and Kraven are also being made. What I'm getting at is that since Sony can 100% make any kind of Spider-Man film they want, as long as it doesn't coincide or interrupt the MCU state of affairs, nothing is stopping them from making a spectacular Spider-Man movie. As long as the film isn't under 40 minutes and can be considered a feature length and not a television episode, Spectacular Spider-Man Season 3 could be adapted into a movie and it would be completely legal for Sony to do. They would not be treading on Disney's shoes. They wouldn't be doing anything out of the rights that they have. They legally own Spectacular Spider-Man, and they legally own 100% of the film rights to Spider-Man. Therefore, they are allowed to make a Spectacular Spider-Man movie.
If they own the rights, they
From
ain't
the
gotta ask
sources
them
that I
for
have
nothing,
found
right?
and the research that I have done over the many years that I've been speaking about this, I have never ever found anything in the Sony and Disney agreement that suggests otherwise. So yes, it is possible for the story for Season 3 to
I
happen
feel like it's
in
weird.
a
Like, if
film.
they want to
And
end
with Spectacular
the partnership, they could
With
anytime, but they
Shopify's
gotta
mobile
ask.
app, you can handle
They
your
gotta
business anywhere.
abide
Add
by
and
the
edit
rules
products,
on not interfering.
refresh your online store,
Like,
and
it's
more, all on the
it's
go.
them. They own it, right?
Spectacular Spider-Man appearing in Across the Spider-Verse with no legal issues, I think this further backs up this idea. And also,
I mean,
with his
they do
appearance
own
in
them,
Across the Spider-Verse reigniting the flame
and it's their
for the
movie.
fans wanting
And
something more from Spectacular
I
Spider-Man,
don't know.
it gives us all the more reason to want a film at
I don't
this
know
point
if they
in
had.
time.
I think they
However,
had
how
Andrew
likely is it that
Garfield in the
Sony do
movie,
make a
but Tom
Spectacular
Holland,
Spider-Man
I don't
movie?
know. I mean, not Tom Holland.
Unfortunately, it is
Tobey
very
Maguire.
unlikely. Not many people know this, but Spectacular Spider-Man was actually meant to have a few straight-to-DVD films produced back when the show was airing. However, since they heavily tied into the story of the original 5 seasons that were produced, they ultimately got cancelled along with the rest of the show. But with Spectacular Spider-Man coming up to being 15 years old, it wouldn't be profitable for Sony to make a film about the character. And I know a few of you in the comments are gonna argue that it would be profitable because of how much attention the character gets from the fans. But you have to understand, we're only a small section of the general populace that Sony would need to have seen the first 2 seasons or to understand who the character is for the film to be profitable. You could do it straight to DVD or straight to Netflix, or heck, you could even make a deal with Disney and make it straight to Disney+.
Nah,
But
don't
it's
do that.
too much of a risk, even for Sony. It's not like Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire coming back to reprise their roles as their Peter Parkers, because those Peter Parkers and those versions of Spider-Man were in the mainstream. You have to understand that the first Spider-Man trilogy and the Amazing Spider-Man movies, despite how financially unsuccessful they were, still made a heck of a lot of money and got a heck of a lot of attention from fans around the world. Therefore, it made sense to bring them back because it would be a profitable choice. However, how many people know of Tobey and Andrew compared to the Spectacular Spider-Man? The Spectacular Spider-Man is only a very small portion of the general populace, whereas Tobey and Andrew are known across the world. It's only very niche fans of the Spider-Man character that really understand and really know of Spectacular Spider-Man. So for Sony, it would be too much of a risk. Too many years have passed, too many characters have come and gone for Spectacular Spider-Man, and ultimately it will probably and always end on a second season. But if you would like to see a rendition of Season 3, then check out my other channel, Lewis Fiction. I have made my own Season 3 episode by episode, and in fact, I'm actually really close to finishing Season 4 with plans to do a Season 5 as well. And essentially, if you don't know what it is, it's a fan fiction, right? It's just me writing it and then presenting it to you guys with images, sound effects, and all that kind of stuff. And you know, I love this show, and it meant a lot to me growing up, so I used all of my writing skills and all of my experience possible to try and make this a reality.
Nah, I'm not gonna watch it unless it's the real thing. It's kind of weird. Who's that? I thought that was Matt Riddle or Shawn Michaels in court. That's gonna bring us to the end of this video. Thank y'all for joining. I'm gonna see y'all in the